Welcome, dear listener, and thank you for choosing to spend this time with us, settling in for the Geometry of Kindled Moss. We hope this gentle journey into a world of quiet wonder brings you deep rest. If you find peace and solace in our stories, we warmly invite you to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more soothing content designed to calm the mind and nurture the spirit. Before we begin Caelan's journey to the hidden grottos, we will share a short, calming breathing guidance to help ease you into relaxation. Should you prefer to drift directly into the story, please feel free to use the chapter timestamps, which you can find listed in the description below. Now, find a position that feels truly comfortable and supportive for you. Allow your body to settle, perhaps noticing the softness of your pillow or the gentle weight of your blanket. Let your limbs feel heavy and relaxed, releasing any tension you might be holding from the day. This is your quiet space, your time to simply be. Let the thought of the softly glowing moss in the peaceful grottos begin to quiet the edges of your mind, preparing you for a gentle, restorative experience. Let us take a slow, calming breath together now. Inhale gently through your nose, feeling the cool air enter, filling your lungs easily without effort. And now, exhale softly through your mouth, perhaps with a quiet sigh, releasing the breath completely. Feel your shoulders soften with the out-breath. Let's try that again. A slow, easy inhale and a long, gentle exhale, letting go a little more. Imagine with each breath you are breathing in calm, like the gentle green-gold light of the kindled moss, and breathing out any lingering thoughts or worries, letting them drift away like mist in the quiet woods. If your mind wanders, simply notice it without judgment, like observing a leaf floating down a slow stream, and gently guide your attention back to the sensation of your breath or the sound of my voice. There is nothing else you need to do right now but rest and allow. Feel the comforting sense of stillness begin to grow within you, a quiet warmth spreading through your body, much like the gentle heat from the kindled moss. Allow yourself to sink deeper into relaxation, ready to receive the peace of the story. Let us now follow the whispering path together into the geometry of kindled moss. Chapter 1, The Whispering Path. The path began subtly, a mere parting in the ferns beside an old weathered stone marker, almost swallowed by ivy. Caelan paused there for a moment, taking a slow breath, inhaling the cool, damp air that smelled richly of turned earth and decaying leaves, a scent of quiet cycles and patient growth. The woods here felt different, hushed and expectant, as if holding their breath. Stepping onto the path felt like crossing an unseen threshold into a place set apart, a sanctuary guarded by silence and shadow. The ground underfoot was soft, a yielding cushion of seasons upon seasons of fallen leaves and moss. Caelan's steps made only the faintest whisper, a gentle shush that seemed to blend into the quiet atmosphere rather than disturb it. Overhead, the branches of ancient beeches and oaks interlaced, creating a living canopy that filtered the afternoon sunlight into soft, shifting patterns on the path ahead. These dappled coins of light danced gently, illuminating patches of vibrant green moss clinging to fallen logs and the delicate unfurling fronds of young ferns. Further along, the sound of water became faintly audible, not a rushing torrent, but a low, contented murmur, the sound of a hidden stream meandering nearby. It was a constant, soothing presence, a gentle counterpoint to the quiet crunch of Caelan's own footsteps. The air carried the clean, cool scent of moving water, mingling with the earthier perfumes of the woods. Caelan consciously let their shoulders drop, releasing a tension held there unknowingly, feeling the gentle invitation of the woods to simply walk, to simply be. Pausing by the unseen stream's closest approach, Caelan noticed smooth gray stones nestled amongst the ferns at the path's edge. Stooping down, Caelan picked one up. It felt cool and solid in their palm, worn perfectly smooth by countless years of water's patient caress. There was a simple, grounding reality to its weight and texture. Caelan held it for a moment, appreciating its unassuming beauty, before gently placing it back amongst its fellows, feeling a quiet connection to the slow, unhurried processes of this place. The path began a gentle incline, winding deeper into the hillside. The trees grew closer here, their bark textured with intricate patterns of lichen in shades of pale green and gray. Caelan ran fingertips lightly over the rough bark of a large oak, feeling its ancient, sturdy presence. A light breeze stirred the upper leaves, creating a soft, rustling sound, like distant whispers carrying secrets only the trees knew. It brushed coolly against Caelan's cheek, a refreshing touch. Looking back, the way already seemed obscured, swallowed by the quiet density of the woods. Looking forward, the path continued its gentle, winding invitation. There was no need to hurry, no destination to strive for beyond the gradual approach to the grottos. Caelan focused on the rhythm of walking, the simple act of placing one foot in front of the other, feeling the gentle rise and fall of the path beneath. Each step felt like a small letting go, a shedding of the weariness that had prompted this journey. The light began to soften further as the sun dipped lower, casting longer shadows and bathing the woods in a warmer, more golden hue. Small birds occasionally flitted between branches, their brief calls echoing sweetly in the stillness. The air grew cooler, carrying the promise of evening. Caelan felt a sense of peaceful anticipation, not of excitement, but of quiet readiness for whatever rest the grottos might offer. The weariness hadn't vanished entirely, but it felt different now, softer, less insistent. It was overlaid with the tranquility of the woods, the soothing repetition of the walk, the simple sensory details observed along the way. The path itself seemed to be part of the cure, gently preparing Caelan for the deeper peace that lay ahead, hidden within the heart of the hillside, where the kindled moss waited with its gentle light. Chapter 2. Hearthstone Grotto. The path ended quite suddenly at a natural archway formed by the roots of an ancient tree clasping onto a rock face. Thick curtains of dark green ivy hung down, veiling the entrance to the grotto and muffling the sounds from within. Pushing aside the cool, smooth leaves, Caelan stepped through into a shallow, cave-like space. The air immediately felt different, stiller, warmer, and carrying the unmistakable comforting aroma of wood smoke. Just inside, nestled into a natural alcove in the smooth limestone wall, a small hearth glowed cheerfully. Flames danced around a couple of sturdy logs, casting flickering orange light that pushed back the natural gloom of the cave entrance. Seated on a low cushioned stool beside the fire was a figure wrapped in simple earth-toned robes. This was Reese, the caretaker. He looked up as Caelan entered, his eyes visible beneath a fringe of gray hair, holding a calm, welcoming gaze. He offered a gentle nod and a quiet smile, radiating an aura of profound peace. Without many words, Rhys gestured towards another stool placed opposite his own. Caelan moved towards it, feeling the warmth from the fire radiating outwards, a welcome sensation against the cool air of the path. Settling onto the surprisingly comfortable cushion, Caelan let out a slow breath they hadn't realized they were holding. The simple act of sitting, of being welcomed into this warm, secure space, felt deeply soothing. The gentle crackle and pop of the logs burning was the only prominent sound, a rhythmic, lulling background noise. Rhys reached towards a small, steaming kettle resting on a flat stone near the hearth. He carefully poured steaming, pale gold liquid into 2 simple ceramic mugs. The fragrant aroma of chamomile and perhaps a hint of mint filled the air, warm and inviting. He offered 1 mug to Caelan, his movements slow and deliberate. Caelan accepted it gratefully, wrapping cold fingers around the smooth, warm ceramic, feeling the heat seep pleasurably into their hands. They sat in companionable silence for a time, sipping the warm herbal tea. It tasted clean and soothing, warming Caelan from the inside out. The firelight flickered across Rhys's calm face and danced on the curved stone walls of the grotto entrance, creating shifting patterns of light and shadow. Caelan watched the flames sway and dip, mesmerized by their simple, constant movement, the steady warmth, the comforting scent of smoke and herbs, the quiet presence of Rhys. It all combined to create an atmosphere of deep safety and profound restfulness. Caelan noticed the details of the small space, the smoothness of the worn stone beneath their feet, the way the smoke curled upwards towards a natural fissure in the roof far above, the few dried bunches of herbs hanging from pegs driven into the rock. Everything spoke of simplicity, of quiet living in harmony with the natural surroundings. There was no clutter, no unnecessary adornment, just the essentials for warmth and simple comfort. The feeling of inner weariness, though still present, felt held and softened by the gentle atmosphere of the Hearthstone grotto. It was like a tightly wound knot beginning to loosen strand by strand. Caelan took another slow sip of tea, feeling the warmth spread through their chest, letting their gaze rest on the softly glowing embers beneath the burning logs. The gentle weight of their body felt more noticeable now, sinking comfortably into the stool, supported and secure. Rhys finally spoke, his voice low and gentle, like the murmur of the distant stream. "The path finds those who need it," he said simply, his gaze still on the fire. "Rest here a while. Let the warmth settle you. The moss waits patiently." His words were not a command, but a gentle offering, an affirmation of Caelan's journey and the peace that awaited deeper within. Caelan nodded, feeling a quiet sense of gratitude for this unexpected sanctuary, this moment of simple, uncomplicated peace by the fire. Chapter 3. Tracing the Light. When the tea was finished, and the comfortable silence had stretched into a soothing balm, Rhys rose slowly from his stool. He gestured gently, inviting Caelan to follow him away from the warmth of the hearth, deeper into the grotto system. The passage narrowed slightly before opening out into a larger, more cavernous space. The air here was cooler, carrying the distinct scent of damp stone and something else, a faint, earthy, almost warm mineral fragrance. And then Caelan saw it, the kindled moss. It wasn't everywhere, but grew in large, distinct patches on the walls and parts of the floor like living tapestries. It glowed with a soft internal light, a beautiful shade of greenish gold, casting gentle illumination throughout the cavern. The light wasn't bright or harsh, but steady and calming, revealing the soft curves of the grotto walls and glistening on damp surfaces without creating sharp shadows. The intricate patterns within the moss itself were mesmerizing: spirals, branching fractals, delicate lattices, all interwoven in a complex organic geometry. Reese led Caelan towards a section of the wall where the moss grew thickly, its light soft and inviting. He stopped a respectful distance away, allowing Caelan to simply observe for a moment, to take in the quiet wonder of the place. The silence here was deeper than by the hearth, broken only by the incredibly slow, rhythmic drip, drip, drip of water somewhere in the darkness beyond the moss's gentle reach, each drop echoing softly in the stillness. Reese then moved closer to the glowing wall. "Observe," he whispered, his voice barely disturbing the profound quiet. He raised a hand and, with infinite gentleness, placed his fingertip onto one of the glowing lines within the moss pattern. He drew his finger along it slowly, deliberately, following its curve. "Feel the warmth," he murmured. "Follow the pattern. Let your thoughts follow your touch." Hesitantly, Caelan stepped forward and chose a simple branching pattern nearby. Reaching out, Caelan touched the moss. It felt surprisingly soft, like dense velvet, and beneath the surface softness, there was a distinct, gentle warmth radiating outwards. It wasn't hot, but pleasantly, deeply warm, like a stone heated by the sun. Caelan began to trace the glowing line, moving slowly, focusing entirely on the sensation of warmth under their fingertip and the visual path of the light. As Caelan's finger moved, following the intricate geometry, a profound stillness began to settle within their mind. The usual stream of thoughts, worries, plans, memories seemed to recede, losing their insistence. The focus narrowed naturally to the simple present act, the soft texture, the gentle warmth, the slow movement, the glowing line. It was like a walking meditation, but with the fingers guided by light and warmth. Caelan traced one pattern, then another, choosing different shapes, exploring the subtle variations in warmth and texture across the moss bed. The greenish gold light seemed to bathe Caelan's face, soothing and calm. The rhythmic dripping of water became a gentle metronome, marking the slow passage of peaceful time. The earthy scent of the moss and damp stone filled the air, grounding and ancient. With each pattern traced, the quiet deepened. It wasn't an empty quiet, but a full one, filled with the presence of the moss, the stone, the water, the gentle light. The weariness Caelan carried felt distant now, replaced by a growing sense of peace, a simple connection to this tranquil, hidden world. Reese stood nearby, a silent, unobtrusive presence, allowing Caelan the space and time to simply be with the moss, letting its gentle magic work its quiet wonders. The warmth from the moss seemed to seep not just into the fingers, but deeper into the hands, the arms, a comforting presence flowing gently inwards. Chapter 4. Patterns of Peace. Over the next few quiet days, Caelan returned often to the main grotto, spending peaceful hours in the soft company of the kindled moss. Reese provided simple, nourishing meals, warm bread, soft cheese, fresh water from the grotto's seep, leaving them near the hearth grotto for Caelan to find, allowing for solitude and uninterrupted quietude. Caelan found a favorite spot, a smooth, wide ledge of stone opposite a particularly large expanse of the glowing moss, cushioned slightly by its own finer, non-luminous growth. It felt cool and solid beneath, a grounding counterpoint to the moss's warmth. From this vantage point, Caelan would simply sit and observe. The intricate geometry of the moss seemed endlessly fascinating, revealing new subtleties with patient watching. Sometimes Caelan's gaze would follow a single glowing line as it branched and spiraled, noticing how the intensity of the light varied slightly along its length. Other times, Caelan would soften their focus, taking in the overall pattern, the way the different patches interconnected like constellations on the dark stone walls. The gentle greenish gold light filled the grotto with a serene ambiance. It reflected softly in the small pools of clear water that gathered in shallow depressions on the floor, creating shimmering, dancing patterns on the ceiling far above. Watching these reflections was like observing a slow, silent underwater ballet, utterly calming to the eye and mind. The light felt kind, nurturing, asking nothing but offering its quiet presence. The sounds of the grotto became familiar companions, the slow, measured dripping of water, sometimes landing with a soft plink in a pool, sometimes a duller thud on mossy stone, created a natural meditative rhythm. Occasionally, Caelan could perceive the faint, low hum Reese had mentioned, emanating from certain smooth, rounded stones nestled near the moss beds. It wasn't so much heard as felt, a deep, resonant vibration that seemed to harmonize with Caelan's own quiet breathing, adding another layer to the profound peace of the place. Sometimes Caelan would rise and approach the wall again, choosing a new pattern to trace slowly with a fingertip. The familiar sensation of gentle warmth spreading through the hand and arm was always welcome, a direct connection to the grotto's calming energy. The act of tracing required a gentle focus that naturally excluded anxious thoughts, allowing the mind to rest in the simple present moment. It felt like smoothing out tangled threads within, one slow, warm stroke at a time. Caelan practiced mindful breathing while observing or tracing, inhaling the cool, earthy air slowly, exhaling even more slowly, feeling the tension release from shoulders, jaw, and brow with each out-breath. The weariness that had felt so heavy upon arrival had now softened into a gentle stillness. It wasn't gone entirely, but transformed, integrated into a larger sense of quiet acceptance and peace. The busy striving of the outside world felt very far away, replaced by simple, profound reality of stone, water, moss, and light. Occasionally, while resting a hand on the cool grotto wall near the moss, Caelan would touch a droplet of clear condensation. Once, a fleeting scent of sun-warmed pine needles filled the air for just a second. Another time, the faintest echo of distant, gentle laughter seemed to brush past the ear. These memory-dew moments were brief and subtle, quiet reminders of simple, peaceful joys, adding another layer of gentle wonder to the grotto's embrace. Sitting there, enveloped in the soft light, the gentle sounds, the calming scents, and the pervasive warmth, Caelan felt their inner self slowly unfurling, like a tightly closed fern frond finally feeling safe enough to open to the gentle light. The patterns of the moss seemed to mirror patterns of peace settling within, intricate and quietly beautiful. Chapter 5. Carrying the Calm. The time came, gently and naturally, when Caelan felt ready to leave the sanctuary of the grottos. The deep weariness had receded, replaced by a quiet sense of inner spaciousness and a renewed connection to simple presence. There was no abrupt departure, but rather a slow gathering of self, a quiet acknowledgement that the deep rest sought had been found, and it was time to carry that peace back into the wider world. Caelan met Rhys by the hearth grotto one cool morning. The fire was burning low, casting soft embers glow. Rhys held out his hand, palm up. Resting in his palm was a small stone, perfectly smooth and oval, a cool dark gray color like river rock. Nestled securely onto its surface, like a tiny living jewel, was a small patch of the kindled moss, currently dormant, its light withdrawn, but its potential held within. "A small piece of the quiet," Rhys said softly, his eyes kind. "Hold it when the world feels loud. Focus on the pattern, remember the warmth. It will share its calm if you listen gently." His voice was low, reassuring, like the hum of the resonating stones. Caelan reached out and took the stone. It felt cool and substantial in their hand, the dormant moss soft against their thumb. It was a tangible link to the peace found within these walls. Caelan murmured heartfelt thanks, words feeling inadequate for the gift of rest received. Rhys simply smiled, a gentle understanding passing between them that needed no further elaboration. He walked with Caelan to the ivy-covered entrance, pushing aside the cool leaves one last time. The morning light of the outside world seemed brighter, the air fresher, carrying the scent of pine and damp earth from the surrounding woods. Stepping back onto the whispering path felt different this time. Caelan noticed the way sunlight filtered through the leaves with a newfound clarity, appreciating the intricate dance of light and shadow. The soft crunch of leaves underfoot sounded welcoming, familiar. The distant murmur of the stream seemed like a gentle farewell song. Caelan walked slowly, mindfully, carrying the smooth stone carefully in a pocket, its cool weight a comforting reminder. The journey back along the path was not rushed. Caelan paused occasionally, noticing the texture of bark on a tree, the delicate structure of a spider's web glistening with dew, the vibrant green of moss on a fallen log, details that might have been overlooked before. The world outside the grotto seemed imbued with a quiet beauty, seen now through eyes rested and calmed. The feeling of peace wasn't a fragile bubble expected to burst, but a deeper, more resilient stillness residing within. It was the echo of the grotto's silence, the memory of the moss's warm glow, the rhythm of slow breaths and quiet observation. Caelan knew the busyness of the world might return, but now there was an inner refuge to recall, a pattern of peace, learned and internalized. Reaching the old stone marker where the path began, Caelan turned for a final look back toward the hidden hillside, though the grotto entrance was long out of sight. A quiet sense of gratitude filled Caelan for the path that led there, for the gentle caretaker, and for the profound, simple magic of the kindled moss. Slipping a hand into the pocket, Caelan felt the cool smoothness of the gifted stone, a silent promise of warmth and calm held within the palm. The journey back into the world began not with weariness, but with quiet clarity and a gentle, steady heart.